kilalang mga komentarista at public service program. Ito lamang himpilan ng DWTL.
Welcome to E-Bible Fellowship's radio broadcast to the Philippines. To learn more, visit our website at ebf2033.org or contact us by email at info@ebf2033.org. We are a gathering of people who have no church association of any kind, who desire to share the Bible's end-time truth as the Lord reveals it to our understanding, including the information that this present time period is Judgment Day. You can listen to our 24/7 web radio on our website, featuring faithful Bible hymns and in-depth Bible studies. And now, let's begin today's program.
Good evening and welcome to E-Bible Fellowship's Bible study in the book of Revelation. Tonight is study number 16 of Revelation chapter 2. And we're going to be reading verse 13, which says, I know thy works, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days when is blessed, and he whom thou cursest is cursed. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the rewards of divination in their hand. And they came unto Balaam, and spake unto him the words of Balak. And he said unto them, Lodge here this night, and I will bring you word again, as Jehovah shall speak unto me. And the princes of Moab abode with Balaam. And God came unto Balaam, and said, What men are these with thee? And Balaam said unto God, Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab, has said unto me, saying, Behold, there is a people come out of Egypt, which covereth the face of the earth. Come now, curse me them. Peradventure I shall be able to overcome them, and drive them out. And God said unto Balaam, Thou shalt not go with them, thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. And Balaam rose up in the morning, and said unto the princes of Balak, Get you into your land, for Jehovah refuseth to give me leave to go with you. And the princes of Moab rose up, and they went unto Balak, and said, Balaam refuseth to come with us. Now let's stop here for a minute and consider what we just read. Here we find that the Moabites are afraid of the Israelites. The Israelites, their reputation has preceded them. They destroyed the mighty army of Egypt in coming out of Egypt. And at this time, they had also won a battle against the Amorites. And so the Moabites were sore afraid. And what were they to do? They didn't know what to do. And so it's determined that they will send for Balaam, a soothsayer, who will curse Israel. Because after all, they're probably reasoning, this is a spiritual matter. They have God on their side. He's the one who did those mighty miracles in the land of Egypt. And so we need God on our side. And it was thought that Balaam had a good relationship with God. And from our first encounter with Balaam, well, we would say this man sounds faithful. He didn't know what the embassage from the king of Moab wanted. He didn't know who these Israelites were, as far as we're aware. And so he rightly takes the matter to Jehovah. He even uses the name Jehovah. So we we have some hope that this Balaam is a good man, because when he does go to the Lord, and the Lord actually communicates with him, which is another plus, we would think, that God is communicating with Balaam. And the Lord tells him, do not go with them. You will not curse the people. They are blessed. And Balaam listens to what Jehovah had said to him, and he tells the princes of Balak, of the princes of Moab, get you into your land. Jehovah refuses to give me leave to go with you. And then those princes rose up and returned to Balak, giving him that word that Balaam refused to come. And if Balaam had left the matter right here, or if the Moabites did not tempt him any further, if he was not tried additionally to the degree he already had been, then we would walk away thinking Balaam is a faithful prophet. He is a good man. He listens to the word of the Lord, and he cannot be bought. He cannot be bribed with these things, that these rewards of divination. However, we know that the story does not end here, and eventually he will give in. That's why 2 Peter chapter 2 says in verse 14 of false prophets, having eyes full of adultery and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, a heart they have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children, which have forsaken the right way and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam, the son of Bosor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness. Well, that's a condemnation from the Lord of Balaam. It also says in the book of Jude, in Jude, verse 11, woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain, and ran greedily after the error of Balaam for reward, and perished in the gainsaying of Korah. Well, again, God is emphasizing that Balaam did go after the reward, but not at first, not initially. He stood strong. He went to the Lord. He did everything correctly from what we can tell. But as we all should be aware, if there is a weakness in us, well, that weakness will be prodded. God will arrange circumstances and allow events to unfold so that we are tested and tested again. If that weakness has to really do with the weakness of an unchanged heart, if that is the problem that lies within us, well, the Lord will not let us continue on in a condition thinking that we are his people. That's one of the reasons why he is severely trying and testing us now. He is checking the hearts of men, checking the hearts of those that proclaim to be his people. And now it was the time for Balaam's test. And in verse 15 of Numbers 22, it goes on to say, and Balak sent yet again princes more and more honorable than they. Well, you see, if the princes weren't enough, if they weren't honorable enough, well, let's just send more. It's still hitting the same point. The weakness is in this area. God knows it, and maybe others know it too. We don't know the whole story here. God's just giving us a bit of information, but it could have been known that Balaam would work for hire in this way, and so the Lord is allowing these things to happen and to increase in their intensity. It goes on to say in verse 16, and they came to Balaam and said to him, thus saith Balak the son of Zippor, let nothing, I pray thee, hinder thee from coming unto me, for I will promote thee unto very great honor, and I will do whatsoever thou sayest unto me. Come therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people. And Balaam answered and said unto the servants of Balak, if Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the word of Jehovah my God to do less or more. Again, he sounds faithful. He's holding fast the word of the Lord. He's doing right. But let's keep reading. Now, therefore, I pray you, tarry ye also here this night, that I may know what Jehovah will say unto me more. Now we see a problem, or we should. God has told him clearly, thou shalt not go with them, thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. And by the way, that last part, Balaam forgot to mention to those princes. He didn't tell them that God said they are blessed. And after that clear statement of the Lord concerning this job offer, that he is not to go, he is not to curse this people, they are blessed. Well, why would Balaam once again go to the Lord asking him what he should do? Sometimes we're very deceitful. Man is very deceitful, especially when it comes to religious things or spiritual matters and our dealings with God. And if we happen to be an unsaved person, well, our heart is desperately wicked and deceitful above all things, and there's no change in that heart, and we really have no relationship with God. We probably manipulate things in our life. As far as a professed relationship with him, we actually would be the ones controlling certain things concerning a so-called relationship between ourselves and God, if we say we're saved and in fact we're not. And so here Balaam is going to the Lord because he has gotten a greater offer, more money, more honor, more prestige, and so he goes back to the Lord to find out, well, now can I go? Can I go? And why would he think that any of the things that God had said would change? Why would God allow him to curse the people when God emphatically said, thou shalt not curse them, for they are blessed? It is only out of a desire for the rewards of divination, out of a deceitful heart, that Balaam returns back to the Lord. It's similar to, let's put this in terms we can understand. We have learned from the Bible, for instance, that we are not to get divorced. We are not to get divorced for any reason. And yet here's a man in a relationship, and he understands this particular truth. He has heard the teaching from the Bible and agreed with it. Yes, I see this, I understand this. But as time goes on, and as his marriage gets more difficult, and as he happens to meet another individual, a woman that he has interest in, he turns back to the Bible and looks at the verses again. And now, why? Why is he doing this? Because it's just like Balaam, going back, trying to find a loophole, find a way that he can do what he wants to do so that he can have his own desire. And just as with Balaam, God permitted Balaam. It says here in Numbers 22, in verse 20, and God came unto Balaam at night and said unto him, if the men come to call thee, rise up and go with them, but yet the word which I shall say unto thee, that shalt thou do. And Balaam rose up in the morning and saddled his ass and went with the princes of Moab. And that's exactly what God does when someone has it in their mind, they're bent on doing something, they want their will to be done. And so as they come back to the Bible, they see things in a different light. Oh, here's a verse, except for fornication. That means that now they begin to think, well, there could be divorce for certain reasons. And then they take that. Of course, there was no fornication in their marriage. And actually, it's not an allowance. God doesn't permit that. But even if someone misunderstood that, it doesn't allow for divorce for any reason, which basically we've come to that point. And so they're trying to get permission, trying to get allowance. And God does allow them, as he'll remove his hand of restraint from their sinful desire in this area and permit them to get divorced, or permit the man to proceed with his wicked desire, with his evil wish, and he gets the divorce, and then he ends up remarrying this other person. And, oh, the Lord has blessed me with a new wife. Oh, no, he hasn't. There's no blessing involved at all. God has simply allowed you to go down an evil road, to go down the wrong way, to do things that are not pleasing in his sight at all. And that's exactly what happened with Balaam, as we read in verse 22 of Numbers chapter 22. And God's anger was kindled because he went. Well, hold it. Didn't the Lord allow him? Yes. And there is a permissive will of God. That is, God recognizes the sinfulness of man, the rebellious nature of mankind, and he restrains sin. He's done this all through history. Of course, in times past to a greater degree, but he restrains the sinful wants of man, and he's done this to allow mankind to function, to have some ability to live in this world and to live their lives in a somewhat moral and decent way. And God, out of his goodness, has withheld man from greatly sinning against him. But we come to our day, and of course that hand of restraint is lifted more and more and more. There's still some hand of restraint, or there would just be total chaos as mankind would devour one another. But as we hear the news, we know that these types of things have never happened to the degree they're happening now all over the earth. Yes, God has allowed men's hearts to wax cold to a point that has never been reached before. And even though God allows man and permits man to do what comes natural to man, it does not mean that it was according to the will of God. God's will is made known in the Bible. His commandments are an expression of his will for each person. If we want to know how to live, what we are to do with our life today and tomorrow and every day we're alive, we read the Bible, and God instructs us and guides us and tells us every step of the way. Here is the path that you may trod. This is the way you may walk. You may do these things. You may be kind and gentle and loving, and you may do these good things, but you may not do these other things. These are wicked and evil. They are contrary to my law. Now, it's only because man is naturally evil that he feels these laws are constraining. They're too tight around him. They suffocate him. He feels no pleasure, perhaps, in adhering to the commandments of God. He wants freedom. And of course, freedom to the sinner is freedom to sin. And because he is not good, but evil, there is none good, the Bible says, he finds no freedom in the fact that God permits him to do all the good that his heart could ever desire to do, or all the good he could imagine to do. We're free to do good, to do well. We're free to love, and we could do works and thoughts and deeds in that area, and God would commend us, and there would be blessing, and there is no law against the many good things that we could potentially do. The only problem is that man's mind does not work in that direction. We don't think naturally good things. We don't do naturally good things. We think evil thoughts continually. We do things that are contrary to the law of God. We have little interest in doing things that are in agreement with the law of God. And that's why so many people feel confined and trapped by law. They're in their marriage, and the Bible says you're not to divorce. Oh, but I want to explore. I want to do other things and meet other people. What you want to do is sin. You want to do what comes naturally. You want to commit adultery, and you don't want to do that which is good. This is the problem with mankind. And so God permits man to do these things in a permissive way, as he just simply lifts his hand of restraint from us, and we run after evil. And that's what he did with Balaam. He permitted Balaam to go with these princes of Moab to Balak in order that he might receive the reward of divination. It was nothing but pure evil. And Balaam has fallen from that position that we initially might have thought of him, that he was a faithful man. Oh no, there's nothing faithful at all about Balaam.
Mula sa top-rated music station ng Dekada 80, ang WBL.